Why do you judge me?
Hi, I am Lamarr Townsend Tarot, and in this video I'll be doing a energy channeling reading on Justin Timberlake. Thank you for listening and watching. I am Lamarr Townsend. I am a psychic, an intuitive tarot reader. I am also an energy channeler and an astrologer. So if you would like a personal reading from me, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, to purchase your reading. You can also call me or text me at 703-791-9162. You can also schedule your own reading with me ahead of time on my website. Purchase your reading and schedule it on the date and time that you would like to do your reading with me. I just revamped my website, so there will be new things added soon. But make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share with your friends and family. And also make sure that you hit the bell next to the subscribe button and hit all notifications. Follow me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot, on Instagram and Facebook as well. So I was doing a Janet Jackson psychic reading a little while ago, and Justin Timberlake came up, obviously, because they did the Super Bowl situation together. And I found out some interesting information in that reading about Justin Timberlake, and it brought up the question of that I need to read Justin Timberlake and see what's going on with him. So definitely check out that Janet Jackson psychic reading. It should actually have Justin Timberlake in Super Bowl 38 in the title. But I just wanted to see what's around Justin Timberlake, how is his growing up in the industry and growing up overall, and what's just around him in general. So let's just go ahead and get right into the reading. So let's start the reading with saging the space and doing a quick prayer, alright? Thank you for cleansing and clearing the energy of the space from any lingering energies, any past energies. Thank you for protecting my energy, my thoughts, my mind, and my emotions, my space, and those watching this video, their mind, their emotions, their energies, their spaces as well. In Jesus' name I pray and thank you. Thank you for allowing me to get an accurate read on Justin Timberlake, and thank you for opening up the channels and closing them once this reading is done. Amen. So Justin Timberlake, I feel like had a very kind of normal childhood at one point. When he was really young, I feel like kind of like middle class. I feel like, before he made it big as a child. Now I know he did Britney. He did the Mickey Mouse Club with Britney when he was young, but I feel like before that he had a very normal kind of childhood, very humble childhood. I don't feel like Justin necessarily grew up super rich, but he grew up middle class. But I feel like from a very young age, his parents saw something within Justin, where he had talent. I feel like Justin at a young age also showed interest in the arts, showed interest in performing, dancing, and things of that nature. So I feel like from a very young age, Justin was indoctrinated into like being in some way a child star or being a performer, alright? And of course that's how he got things like the Mickey Mouse Club, and from there he, did music with, I believe, NSYNC. And from there he had his own solo career. But it's interesting because I feel like the Mickey Mouse Club was really good training ground for Justin, not only in terms of his performance skills and things like that, but also how the industry worked. There's something where Justin, from a young age, I feel like would learn ways to still shine or steal parts from others in some way. Like he could be very sneaky like that, and even when he was young. So he would purposefully, for example, try to outshine other people if he was in a scene with them, or he would purposefully try to show that, hey, I can do the scene better than you. Like he was always kind of a shine stealer in some way, even when he was young. But I don't know Justin's, sharp, but I feel like that comes from him being kind of a little bit arrogant. A showstopper, definitely, but someone who it's like he can't always look at other people and just appreciate their like gift and say, wow, that's amazing. It's like, wow, I want to do that now. Like, I want to jump on stage and like see if I can do that, or I want to jump on stage and see if I can do it better, if I can get a better reaction, a crazier reaction from the crowd, or a bigger reaction from the crowd. It was like he was very much that person growing up. Very confident, very cocky. But also, interestingly enough, very sexualized, especially when he was like in NSYNC. It's NSYNC, right? Oh my god, I need to go. I need to check to make sure it's NSYNC. Okay, I just confirmed that it is NSYNC. I just wanted to make sure because in the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reading, I called Prince William Prince Andrew the whole time because I wasn't like paying attention. I was just speaking, so I have a tendency to do that, so I just had to fact check myself, but it is NSYNC. When he was in NSYNC, I feel like Justin was very like sexualized, but at the same time he was always prized as like the one with the most talent. So I feel like there's something where Justin has always felt like since he was young he could outshine or outshine the rest naturally. I mean, naturally he is a gifted artist, he's a gifted performer, but I feel like part of like his gift comes from the reception he gets from people. So I feel like at a young age, because he showed so much talent and so much promise, it's like, of course, naturally adults and other children would be like, you're so amazing, you're going to be so big. And I feel like this kind of fed Justin's ego in some way, and also fed Justin's need to better himself, to be better, to prove those things that people were saying about him to be true. So I feel like, once again, like I'm saying, at a young age, I think Justin understood how the industry worked. But like I was saying, at a young age, he was sexualized pretty much. Just in terms of his body being really muscular, taking his shirt off, knowing that sex sells and things of that nature. So I feel like Justin, he always kind of was a little bit borderline, like kind of metrosexual-ish. Very much like, I feel like Justin was kind of groomed. Like, I just keep hearing groomed. So I feel like he was groomed to be like a sex symbol at a young age. But I feel like not only a sex symbol in terms of females, but also men, like young gay men or young men in general. Like, seeing Justin Timberlake as someone that, I need to look like this in order to get, women or other guys to like me or whatever the situation is. So I feel like as Justin aged and got into his later teens, such as 18 and his early 20s, I actually see that maybe he dealt with a drug issue around that time. It could be drinking, but I feel like it has something to do with actually drugs, and I feel like this actually caused a lot of breakdowns in his relationships. Now, I don't know exactly when NSYNC broke up, but I feel like around the time NSYNC broke up, or around the time Justin Timberlake, I almost want to say Justin Bieber, around the time that Justin Timberlake left NSYNC, I feel like he was having some sort of drug issue. And I'm hearing rehab, so he may have even went to rehab at one point. But I do see him struggling with that. And it does feel like, allegedly, this is for entertainment purposes, it feels like a substance of some sort. Like, almost like a white powder. So and I feel like this was a little bit of the cause of the breakdown in his relationship with his bandmates in NSYNC. I feel like at some point, Justin didn't recognize his bandmates and his bandmates didn't recognize him. I feel like part of that has to do with drugs. Another part of it has to do with Justin just wanting to, once again, because at a young age he was always told that you're amazing, you're going to be big, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And I'm sure around that time as well, people were telling him, like, you need to go solo. You're going to be so big if you were to go solo. Like, you know, like, I feel like Justin had his own camp around him. It's like the other boys were, like, kind of pushed over there at times where that's how the other guys felt. Even though some of the other guys were pretty successful in their own right, I feel like Justin was always hailed as, like, the Beyonce of the group, I guess, or, like, the one that had the most promise, or the one that was going to be big when they went solo. And I feel like Justin was really ready for that moment to break out, and I feel like that also kind of wedged a block between Justin Timberlake and his bandmates, because I don't even feel like today they're super close. Like, I feel like the guys are, like, the other guys are close, but I don't, like, or at least some of them, but I don't feel like Justin Timberlake has any sort of relationship with any of his past bandmates. And it's just like, once again, I don't see, like, a connection. I don't feel like it's almost like Justin's looking at them and it's like, hey, like, I don't really know you guys anymore, remember you guys, so it's kind of awkward, but, you know, hey, like, we grew up together, and they're kind of looking at Justin the same way, and it's just like, it's just like a weird dynamic. So that's what I feel with that. But yeah, I think around the time that Justin Timberlake broke free, I think he was dealing with some sort of substance abuse. Also picking up the Cry Me a River. Like, I think around that time he was also having some sort of substance abuse as well. I don't know if he's actually talked about this. I feel like him and Britney also may have struggled with this together, or may have done stuff together when they were together. So that's very interesting. And I feel like there's something about Justin. Justin has, like, this thing where he, like, wants to fit in with people. So I feel like he didn't always surround himself with the best people when he was younger. So I feel like he's had some experiences where, like, Justin, like, has gotten ripped off by people he trusted, robbed even by people he trusted. Like, I think Justin's been through some situations, and it's caused him definitely to close off. Some of these instances do deal with, you know, drugs allegedly. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind, that that's in the picture. But I feel like Justin also has this thing of gimmick. Like, he kind of, especially when he was younger, remember, even, like, being a sex symbol is a gimmick, alright, as an artist. You know, sex sells, but that makes it a gimmick at that point, right? So I think there's something, and it's interesting because now the Janet Jackson and the Justin Timberlake readings are connecting now. I was mentioning this as well in Janet Jackson's reading, how she kind of reached a point, and maybe all artists reach this point where, like, they feel like they have to, not all artists, but they kind of have to create a gimmick, or, you know, create gimmicks in order to sell. Movie studios will do this too. Like, they call it marketing, you know, and it's interesting because I have a marketing degree, but nonetheless. I feel like at some point, like, Justin kind of relied on certain gimmicks. And that deals with the industry in general, the music industry. Like, it's a very gimmicky kind of, you know, space. But I'm picking up the Super Bowl, and how the Super Bowl was once again a gimmick for both Justin and Janet. But I feel like there's something about, oh my god, now I understand. I don't know. Okay, so I know Janet and Justin performed together, but there's a song that Justin has where it, like, it goes, I'ma have you naked by the end of this song. And there's a connection between that song, or that part of the song, and the top of Janet Jackson being ripped off. And I remember mentioning in the Janet Jackson reading how I think there was kind of an energy I felt where it was a gimmick in the sense of, yes, the top was supposed to be pulled off, but I don't think that much of the top was supposed to be pulled off, or I think there was supposed to be something underneath the top that Justin purposely pulled off. And I was saying how I thought, or got the energy that possibly Justin's team told him to pull off the full of the top, because his team or he knew that it would bring him more promo, it would get him in the newspapers and things like that, get him a lot of press. And this is a different day and age. This was the early 2000s. Now we're in like 2020. So, like I was saying, I remember when this actually aired. Like I was watching this on my couch, at home. My mom in another room, and her top being ripped off. But I feel like there's a connection between "I'ma have you naked by the end of this song," whatever that song is, and Janet Jackson's top being pulled off, and the symbology and the metaphor of Janet's nipple being exposed. Even though I don't think her full nipple was exposed, I think she had like some pasty on, or I thought it was like a ring, like a nipple ring, and kind of her being naked in that sense. And I think it was kind of meant to be a joke, and but it was kind of meant to be gimmicky at the same time. Like, have you naked at the end of the song, her top being ripped off, like, buy my album kind of thing. That's what I'm picking up. And in a way, it kind of tainted Justin's career in a little way. And I feel like from there, he completely diverged on a new path. But I feel like, because I feel like after that, like, there's something where he felt like he had solidified himself as an artist, but at the same time, like, he didn't feel accepted, I feel like, by the black community after that in some way. So I feel like Justin does have this kind of complex where he doesn't feel accepted in the urban community, even though he feels like he's worked so hard to be accepted in the urban community. Because I feel him, like, being like, they don't even play my music. Like, they don't even play my songs anymore. And I do feel like in some way, and it's interesting because it kind of tainted both of them, even though Justin and his team and other people felt like Justin looked good in the end at the Super Bowl. I feel like it tainted him in the sense of it didn't make him look good with the urban community. So I feel like Justin's career kind of suffered in that sense, and I think and that's why I brought this up. I think that's why after that happened, he made a divergence into the urban community, because I remember him after that working with Timberland again? Did he work? Because I think he worked with Timberland for Cry Me a River, but then I think he worked with Timberland again, and he had more of like a urban feel to his music, and not so much pop. Because I remember him working with Beyonce and stuff like that. So Justin has always been very calculated in like his career, and that's why I think after the most recent Super Bowl, The Man in the Woods, it wasn't urban. Like, I feel like he kind of realized, okay, like, he was pretty smart in the sense of he realized that the urban community isn't going to be so welcome or open. So I think that's what made him, like, do that kind of music in terms of The Man in the Woods. I never listened to that album, by the way. But it's interesting what's in store for Justin in the future. I think Justin has learned a lot of lessons, and I think he's sobered up. I think having children sobered him up. In terms of Britney Spears, I feel like Justin, interestingly enough, has seen Britney in like a lot of different states. I feel like I could be allegedly conspiracy. I think Britney has had a drug issue even since she was young. I'm picking up, or had some issues with like, smoking pot maybe, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I think Justin like kind of understands on some level what Britney's going through now. It's like she's kind of always been that way, is what I'm seeing from Justin's perspective. Even though back then she had her head much more firmly on her shoulders. But I think, why did they break up though? Sorry, I had to go, I don't know if you heard my cat meowing, but I had to go see what was up with him, because sometimes he'll just meow at the door for attention. It gets really annoying, so I ignore it, but sometimes I forget he's an intelligent being, and sometimes his meowing means something, and the bathroom door was not open. So he couldn't use the bathroom. His litter box is in one of the bathrooms, so. Alright. Why did Justin and Britney break up? And I picked up the father. I think, interestingly enough, I think the father had something to do with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears breaking up. I I think the father has always wanted to maintain control over Britney, even since she was young, before, you know, her breakdown, in which he literally has control over her now. And maybe that's what I'm picking up now. It's like, I think Justin, looking at how Britney Spears, the state she's in now, has, like, he's not looking at it, it's like, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by any bit of it. So I think the father was some cause of the breakup. I think Britney has always been a girl that just wanted to be in love, that wants to support her man, and I think in some way Justin was like an ideal relationship for Britney. And I think in a lot of ways Justin kept Britney grounded, or would keep Britney grounded, but I feel like Britney, on some level, and I'm hearing party girl, so I do feel like Britney has always had kind of party girl tendencies, and I actually think there's something where Justin, like, would hear things through the grapevine, like, hey man, Britney's doing this or that, or man, you should watch Britney around this person, I think like this person's trying to sleep with Britney. Like, I think Justin would always hear kind of things, so I feel like, you know, Justin would watch Britney, you know, watch her behavior. I feel like Justin's very observant, and I feel like he would pay attention to like little clues about like, okay, I see how she interacts with this person or that person, I wonder if there's anything going on. So I feel like Justin actually either accused or thought Britney was cheating, or accused Britney of cheating in some way, shape, or form. So I think there was definitely issues with that going on in the relationship. And I think at some point, because Justin would accuse Britney of cheating like so often or something like that, just because of like things he was hearing and, you know, things through the grapevine, I feel like Britney started thinking that Justin was cheating. So I feel like part of this was cheating, questions about cheating or something like that, but it also does deal with something about the father, Jamie. So I think either Jamie didn't like Justin. I'm not sure if Jamie and Justin actually got along. Like, I think, like whenever Justin would exert, like show that he had too much control over Britney, or that, you know, Britney would be more willing to listen to Justin than over her dad, I feel like Jamie would like put his foot on Justin's neck and be like, look boy, I'm her father, you know, and, you know, you at the end of the day are just some boy that, you know, is off the street or something like that. So I feel like Jamie would actually talk to Justin like this sometimes. So I think, you know, on some level, Jamie Spears and Justin, like, I don't know, I don't think they got along, or I think they had some problems, and I think that that's also a cause of the breakup on some level. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I'm seeing a child, so I'm wondering if Britney at one point was pregnant by Justin, or if there was a pregnancy scare, and there were questions over the father, over the dad of the father, or something like that. But I do feel like that is showing up as well. But I don't know, I feel like, you know, unfortunately she was at that point so entrenched in her career, I don't think she could have, her team, I will say, I don't think her team would have let her stop, you know, and slow down enough to have a child. You know, at that age, I don't think they were having it, you know, so I think on some level, you know, that's why Justin will always be gracious to his parents, because they never, like, treated him like a workhorse. And I think maybe that's the difference between Britney and Justin, because I think Britney was maybe like a lower middle class, or not even middle class, whereas Justin grew up, had this foundation coming into this life as a child where it's like, yeah, you can pursue your dream, you know, and make money off of it. We don't need it. We're living fine. But, you know, if you make money and you end up being a superstar, then that's awesome. We'll still support you. But we don't need your money. I feel like that's kind of how, you know, Justin's upbringing was. So I feel like Justin, like, you know, never felt like he had to be a workhorse for his family. And it's interesting, I do pick up Michael Jackson. So I feel like there's something about Michael Jackson where I feel like Justin looked up heavily to Michael Jackson. And I feel like his meetings with Michael Jackson or his interactions with Michael Jackson are like firmly imprinted in his mind. Like I'm looking at them like so strongly. And I feel like that was like one of the pinnacles of his life was being like taught or being able to work with Michael Jackson in some way. Those days are like firmly imprinted in his mind. Like those days where he was young, there was a young Britney, like yeah. He remembers those days fondly even though he's grown so much past them, you know. But in terms of him and Jessica Biel, I think his current wife, I feel like they, you know, there's some sort of love there, there's a like there, but I don't feel like there's like a deep connection between these two. And I think I've done readings on Justin before in the past, and I think I said the same thing in my past readings. I don't see, it almost feels like a business relationship, like they just kind of make money together, or it just kind of works for them. You know, it's a good image for them. You know, family, wholesome, that kind of thing. Um, but I won't say it's necessarily fake either. You know, I mean, I think they do have children together. So, and I think it's interesting. I think these two have known each other since they were young. You know, so I do think that's there. I think they've known each other since they were young. I think they did grow up in the industry together on some level. I don't know if they like were the closest. You know, maybe they were pretty close growing up. You know, you never know with these Hollywood stars. But I do see that these two have known each other since they were young, like since they were at least, you know, their early teens, early 20s. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know them, you know a person at one age, and then time goes on, and then somehow you meet them again, and it's like, oh, you know, how are you? It's been so long, like, what have you been up to? It's like that kind of thing I see between him and Jessica. But I don't know. I don't think these two spend so much time together because they're just always so busy. I feel like, um, but I do feel like they're working on that. Like they're trying to spend more family time together. I feel like, there is something where I don't know if Justin. I feel like Justin does have some cheating tendencies. But he tends to do it, I feel like, allegedly when he's not around the house for long periods, if he does. Alright, so. But once again, I feel like it's because, you know, the relationship, I think, between him and Jessica is just like, it's comfortable. It's like almost like complacent energy. Like, you know, it's just like, we have our thing here, but, you know, I still go out and run the streets when I want to. Like, that's kind of what I get. Um, Oh my god, I just got this. I could be a conspiracy. I could be, you know, a conspiracist. I could be an alleged, alright. But I feel like Justin Timberlake, like, may come out as bisexual at some point in his career. Or he may talk about bisexual experiences, you know, in his career. Remember I was saying that at a young age he was sexualized. And he was sexualized and groomed to be sexualized not only for young women, but men as well. Um, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if at a young age, you know, around that time Justin did have his own experiences with the same sex allegedly. You know, I do pick up that energy. You know, I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, he's married to a woman, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's something he does, you know, 24/7, but I don't know, I'm hearing, like, I'm seeing and hearing bisexual, so I feel like he may come out as bisexual down the line. Like, you know, I'm attracted to both men and women. I have the potential to have feelings for both men and women. Maybe this is after, you know, I don't know. You know, maybe at some point they, you know, have this thing where they have an open relationship, or they have this kind of trust in their relationship. Or maybe, I don't know, because I see like another child or something like that with them. So they may stay together for a little while longer. But I think if these two break up, Jessica and Justin, I think they'll end amicably. Alright? But it's interesting, I do see Justin working on new music. I feel like this new music is going to have more of an urban sound and urban feel. It's going to have something new and funky to it. So he's going to try to like mix it with some like new funky flavor or something like that. It's almost like, almost Bruno Mars-ish is what I'm hearing. Like Bruno Mars-ish mixed with like Robin Thicke. Like something like that. And he may end up working with Timberland again, interestingly enough. But I also feel like there's actually potential for Justin to work again with his old bandmates, NSYNC. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them reconnecting for like a tour or something like that, maybe even a residency somewhere, or like working on new music, because I do see them coming back together, doing interviews and stuff like that. So interesting. This was an interesting reading. Alright, so thank you for listening and watching. Check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, to purchase a reading from me. Once again, I am an astrologer, a psychic, an energy channeler, and a tarot reader. So if you would be interested in getting an astrology birth chart reading from me, natal chart reading, or a psychic tarot reading from me, or candle work, I do have a special right now, the New Year special. You get one candle, a 30-minute psychic recorded tarot reading, and a 30-minute recorded birth chart reading for $100. There's also the $55 special where you get a 20-minute psychic tarot reading and a 20-minute birth chart reading, both recorded sent to your email. So check those out. Follow me on my Instagram, Lamarr Townsend Tarot, on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell next to the subscribe button, hit all notifications, and I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you for your own personal reading. Either way, I'll see you soon.